Hey everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Taz. This is going to be a baking video. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to bake moist, rich and delicious fruit cake or plum cake. Fruit cake or plum cake is a very popular cake that's baked during Christmas. So it's basically a cake that's loaded with candied fruits and dried nuts. This is an alcohol-free recipe, so it's a very simple recipe. If you have the candied fruits and dried nuts, you will be able to make this delicious cake in your kitchen. So let's get started and let's make rich and moist fruit cake or plum cake. Into a bowl, let's mix all the dried fruits and nuts. So here I've taken half cup chopped dates, add that to the bowl. So this is half cup candied dried fruits and cherries or Tutti Frutti. So next I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons raisins. You can literally add any kind of dried fruits. Next, going to add chopped nuts. This is half cup chopped almonds and cashew nuts. You can also add walnuts or pecans. Next, let's add 1 cup orange juice. So I've taken 1.5 cups dried fruits and nuts. For that, I've added 1 cup orange juice. So give it a good mix and let this soak for an hour. So keep it aside. An hour soaking should be good. We don't have to soak this for long. Preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius. Next, let's mix all the dry ingredients. To a bowl, I'm going to sieve 1 cup all-purpose flour. To the all-purpose flour, adding 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda. Next, let's add all the spices, adding 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon dried ginger. So if you don't have dried ginger, you can skip it. 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon. So these are the spices that we'll be adding. Next, adding 1/4 teaspoon salt. These are the dry ingredients, so let's sieve this into the bowl. Keep aside the dry ingredients. Let's next make the wet ingredients. Into a bowl, I'm going to add 1/4 cup softened unsalted butter. Using an electric hand mixer, I'm going to beat the butter. So we don't have to cream the butter. At medium speed, beat it. To the butter, next let's add 3/4 cup brown sugar. If you don't have brown sugar, you can add white sugar. However, brown sugar will give that nice caramelized taste and flavor. So beat it with the butter. Next, let's separate the egg yolks and whites from 2 eggs. So these are eggs at room temperature. So I've taken 2 bowls, so I'm going to separate the yolk and egg whites. Add the 2 egg yolks to the brown sugar and butter. So using a spatula, just scrape the yolks from the bowl. Beat at medium speed for 3 minutes. So now it will turn creamy. Since we have added egg yolks, the butter and brown sugar will turn creamy. Here is the creamed brown sugar, butter and yolks. To that, let's add the prepared flour mix with the baking powder, baking soda and the spices. Beat at low speed for 2 minutes till just incorporated. Here is the soaked dried fruits and nuts. So it was soaking in orange juice for an hour. So now let's add this to the flour mix. Combine at low speed and let everything mix well. Keep this aside. Next, let's whip the egg whites. So let's add the egg whites to a bowl. So these are the egg whites that we separated from 2 eggs. So at high speed, let's whip the egg whites till they form soft white peaks. So this will take 3 to 4 minutes. So beat it at high speed. Beautiful soft peaks have formed. Next, let's add the whipped egg white to the prepared mixture that has butter, brown sugar, flour, and the soaked dried nuts and fruits. Using a silicone spatula, combine the whipped egg whites to the mixture. So we don't have to beat this. So mix it using the spatula till the egg whites have completely incorporated into the flour mix. Combine it well. So we need to ensure the egg whites have completely incorporated into the batter. Here is our beautiful fruit cake or plum cake batter. So this is ready here. So next, let's bake this. Here I am using a 6-inch cake pan. You can also use 8-inch cake pan. So I'm greasing the bottom of the pan with melted butter. So let's line the bottom with parchment paper and then spread the butter on the sides of the pan. So this is a very important step. We need to grease the pan with melted butter so that the cake will not stick to the pan. Please do not use springform pan. What I find with springform pan is when we bake, the liquid will release through the sides of the pan and this can cause a little bit of smoke in the oven. Even though here I'm using springform pan, so please use regular cake pan. Let's pour the batter into the cake pan. Tap the cake pan to release any air bubbles. Let's top the cake batter with cashew nuts. So this is optional, you can skip this step. Let's place the cake pan in the preheated oven on the middle rack. So the oven has preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius. So let's set the time to 45 minutes. So let's first bake to 45 minutes. After 45 minutes of baking, I've taken the cake pan out of the oven, going to insert a fork into the center of the cake to test the doneness. As you can see, the center has not cooked well, so I'm going to keep the pan back into the oven and bake for another 15 more minutes. If you have used a wide pan, this will be ready in like 15 minutes. So please check after 45 minutes. And if the center hasn't cooked well, keep it back and bake for 10 to 15 more minutes. So I have baked for 15 minutes, going to take the pan out. So total baking time is 1 hour. So let me insert a fork into the center and let's see if this has cooked well. So as you can see, the fork has come out clean, so the center has cooked perfectly. Keep this aside and let it cool down completely for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Wanted to share with you guys, since I've baked this cake in a springform pan, the liquid kind of dripped from the cake batter. That's what you're seeing on the bottom of the oven. So that kind of caused a bit of smoke in the oven. So to avoid that, please use a regular cake pan. After the cake has cooled down, I'm going to take the cake out of the pan. Run a knife around the edge of the cake pan, so this will help the cake to detach from the pan. I'm going to remove the sides of the pan. So here's our fruit cake or plum cake. So let's flip this over and remove the bottom pan and the parchment paper. The cake has cooled down completely, so I'm going to cut into wedges. So using a sharp knife, let's cut into wedges or squares. So this is a beautiful, rich, moist cake. Here is our delicious fruit cake or plum cake. I baked this cake for an hour and it has turned out great. Since we have added candied fruits, dried nuts and spices like nutmeg, cinnamon and dried ginger, the fragrance that's coming out of this cake is just amazing, and right now my house smells incredible. So guys, do give this recipe a try. It's not that hard to bake fruit cake or plum cake in your kitchen, and you will fall into the festive holiday spirit after you bake this cake. Happy holidays everyone, enjoy with your family, so stay safe and take care. So I'll be back with more cooking videos. Until then, happy baking and bye. I'm going to enjoy the fruit cake or plum cake. So this is so rich and moist. Tastes delicious guys, oh my god. As we have this cake, we'll get the bite of candied fruits and nuts and the orange juice that we have added. It's so refreshing, and also we'll get to enjoy the flavor of the spices we have added. So this is an absolutely delicious fruit cake.